Welcome back, guys, to a brand new live stream on the channel. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday evening. Now, in the UK, it's very hot right now. It's extraordinary hot, but it's like almost 30 degrees. So, I've just been chilling at home today. Did a little bit of workout, but I hope you guys are doing fine. Good to see you, my friend. Cookie, good to see you as well. Chris, how you doing, buddy? Tony, Savage, T13, Denisio, good to see you. Delario, good to see you as well, my friend. How you doing? Zeus, Andreas, very good to see you, buddy. Smash the like, guys. Let's get this. I'll give you guys a little update on the markets, what's most likely going to happen over the next couple of weeks, and what to expect moving forward in the coming month. Shadow, good to see you as well, my friend. RKJ, good to see all you guys, bro. The regulars are in the chat right now. It's very, very good to see all of you guys. Andreas, I appreciate you as well, my friend. Shadow, how you been, bro? It's good to see you in here as well. Omar, walaikum salam, BNB King, good to see you as well, bro. Anyways, let's go over what's most likely going to happen. Now, we do have, keep in mind, guys, what tends to happen at the end of the month and the start of a new month. The market tends to be a little bit scared. And that is because you get a fresh wave of data coming out every single month. And, between the 1st to the 10th, you normally get a bunch of data, which means that, the chances of us filling this CME gap, which is around this region over here at the 93 to 95K region, this is where a lot of liquidity is sitting right now. So the likely chances of us, if we cannot break out of this zone, this little, this is a bull flag, by the way, guys. Do not get scared of this. When the market consolidates like this, you probably get, you could get, if you can't break out of this over here and close above it, the likely chance is we'll come down here, fill the CME gap. This will give you guys a very good buying opportunity over here at this region, 94, 95. This is where the CME gap is, obviously. You can put longs over here, 10x longs, 5x longs. You can put your trades on. You can accumulate your long-term holdings. But I do think that, the CME gap at this region will get filled over the next couple of weeks. But there is some, one of the things that could possibly rally the markets in the short term is this over here. Michael Saylor hints buying another major buy on Monday. So what tends to happen is every single time Michael Saylor hints at buying, the market front runs it. And that's probably why we pumped today to about 108K, got rejected off this region. And then, at the start of the month, if the data comes in a little bit bearish, because we do have data coming out at the start of each month, you can go check over here. Look at the data that's coming in. Let me see. Keep going down. Nothing over at least, let's see, the start of the month. Let's have a look at when the next important data is coming out. So we have ISM PMI, which is basically ISM is a good indicator of how well the economy is doing. When it's below 50, the economy is in contraction. When it's above 50, the economy is in expansion. So at the moment, we are in the contraction phase, and that's probably why we're seeing GDP below, below 1% or below 0%. I think it's minus 0.5. So we have ISM, we have JOLTS coming in as well. And then following that, we have, nothing important. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at when the next important data is. Okay, so the next important data is on the 3rd of July. So that's a few days away, which is the unemployment numbers. It's coming out 4.2. That's what they're forecasting. If it comes in higher, technically it's better for us, because the higher it becomes, the more likely chance that the Fed is going to cut the interest rates. But at the moment, when you look at initial jobless claims, it's being very resilient. When this is above 250, 260K, it means unemployment is going to go up. If it's below 250 and below 240, it means the unemployment is either going to stay the same or potentially even come down. But I do think unemployment will, is not going to be changed too much. I think it will be at the 4.2 region. That is because initial claims is holding very well, and that's one of the reasons the Fed it does not want to cut the interest rates. That's basically what's happening. But we have other factors where the market it will not solely rely on the Fed. When they de-relegate the banks, I think that's going to have a massive impact. I think this big beautiful bill shit that's coming next month as well could potentially help retail, get back on their feet a little bit, because it basically is like a massive tax cut for the average person, which is good. But there's also, I haven't looked into the bill that in that much depth, so I don't know what's the pros and cons is, but I know it is going to be a massive tax cut, which obviously helps the average person. And at the moment, what you're seeing is across the crypto world is you can see in social risk, almost as zero. Is basically at the all-time lows. The last time we've seen this is damn near 2019, Jan 2019, back in 2017 as well. The market was pretty much dead. At the moment, social risk is at zero, completely zero. Social risk is at zero, which means that no new retail is coming into crypto. And that's probably why we have never seen any sufficient problems. All the retail that comes in, in December in 2023, they're here for the short term. And I think what tends to happen is a lot of people, that come into the cryptoverse, especially with all these meme coins, because everyone talks about meme coins, what happens to them is they get trapped. They buy a meme coin in rug pools, and I think the cryptoverse is kind of like a healing phase where it needs to flush out all these all these crazy meme coins that rug pull every day, the pump funds. I think it does need a reset, because any new people that does come into this space, they walk away with losing money. And only the people that stay and learn, those are the only people that's remaining in the cryptoverse now. And the crypto bros that's been here for multiple years, that's the only people in the crypto space now. There's no new people coming in. Even though BTC is at the all-time highs, I don't think it's enough at the moment. I think what people need is like a massive tax cut or something, where they're willing, whichever money they have on the side, they're willing to spend it or invest it or do something. At the moment, most people are just stuck. They're working 2 jobs, they can barely get by. So that's something to look out for as well. But the CME gap at this region, I do think is likely to get filled, and one of the main reasons is because, as I explained, at the start of the month you get a fresh set of data, and before the data, market makers or people tend to take a little bit of profits off the table in case something uncertain happens. So if we do get a dump in this region, it's not guaranteed. They could just short squeeze and send us higher, but if it does come in here, no price discovery. There is a chance of price discovery, PA. There is a chance. Like I said, if we hold these regions over the next few days, then the CME gap doesn't need to be filled. CME gaps does not always get filled. Keep that in mind. It does not always get filled, but there is a chance. You have to plan for all scenarios. You don't want to be 100% in the markets over here thinking it's going to go higher. You have to take into consideration that there's a CME gap over here where a bunch of liquidity is sitting, where the market could attack that liquidity. And you have to have some sort of cash on the side. That's why my rule is always to have between 10 to 20% cash on the side for uncertain black swan events, for trading, etc. You don't want to be 100% in the markets, because if people get frustrated, and that's what we're seeing across the board now, because anyone invested into strictly altcoins, they've been getting, they've taken a massive risk. The risk has not paid off at the moment. It will eventually pay off, because they will have people. Human psychology will always want more, and greed takes over. So when Ethereum starts to pump a little bit and altcoins start to do well, you're going to see people that are holding BTC. They're going to take their profits and move it elsewhere to get more returns. That's why we will always have, whether it's a small Altseason, a massive Altseason, we'll always have a decent pump at some point in a year. Because when Bitcoin does a big move, people are going to take profits from the Bitcoin and move it elsewhere. That's what we've seen in December, and that's what we've seen in even a few months ago. We've seen it a few months ago as well. We've seen it in 2023, 2024. It will happen again. It just, you have to be patient at this point. Fizz, how you doing, bro? Greek, good to see you. Crypto Legend, good to see you as well. Savage, good to see you. I am going to be releasing a new base play very soon. This week, actually. I do have some new plays. and it is on Base. Yes, I have an AI coin on Base. There's quite a few decent projects on Base, but a lot of them are just they've kind of pumped a little bit. So I have found a good one that has not pumped, but has the potential to pump loads. So I will be releasing that for you guys this week. I'll release it this week. It hasn't pumped too much. It hasn't done anything. It's pretty good. Well, I think tomorrow for us is going to be really hot as well. It's going to be above 30, which for the UK, above 30 Celsius is very, very hot. Is Allo, RWA, and Plume goodbye? I don't think, Verma, I think you're new here, but good to see you. Dyson, good to see you. Stan, good to see you as well, buddy. One thing you have to consider with Plume, and you have to be very careful, and this is one of the concepts of a bear market play. You want to be buying these coins in the bear market because they have a bullish concept and they have a solid ecosystem, a solid product. But when projects launch brand new, what happens is you get crazy amounts of dilution coming into play, and Plume is one of them. Every single month, you're going to get $8 million, which is almost 5% of the current market cap, being added into circulation. At the same time, what you're going to get is the thing is like not all of this is obviously selling pressure, because you get community, ecosystem, and the foundation, which is not all selling pressure. The early investors obviously get their tokens in like a year's time, or like half a year's time. So it's not that bad. But you have to take in consideration that there is going to be massive unlocks, and then in January 2026, you're going to see a fucking massive unlock, which which equates to 58% of the current market cap, and that's where the early investors, the team, the core contributors, that's when they get their tokens. So I think Plume is overall a solid project, but I think there's a lot better RWA projects in my opinion than Plume currently. And I think Plume, with the unlocks that it has, I think it will continue to dump. You don't want to be buying a token that dilutes 5% of the supply every month. I think that's too much. Allo, I have not looked into Allo. I can look into Allo for you right now. I think quite a few people was looking into Allo. Allo RWA. Oh, this is the brand new project actually. I had this on my watch list. I have not looked into it now. Trade stocks on chain. This is a bullish concept. Quite a few different projects are doing this. So Injective is doing this. Ondo is already doing this, and I think bringing stocks on chain. I think SMT also does this as well. So it's not a new concept. There's actually another project that does it as well. I forgot the name, but there's quite a few different projects using this concept where you can obviously trade stocks on chain. You can probably use your crypto USDT to buy a lot of these stocks. I think it's quite bullish. Let's have a look at the up to 10x leverage. It's basically like a DEX for RWA, this is, which is quite bullish in my opinion. Yeah, purple DEX for tokenized stocks, I think this is one of a kind. I have not seen a project do this before. I don't know if Injective offers leverage. I know they do stocks, but they don't offer leverage. First thing you want to do when you want to look at a project, you want to look at the IDO price, which is at the moment the IDOs are up 5.8. It's almost 6x, and then you have to base it on the IDO. If the IDOs are up 6x, what you're going to get is you're going to get the seed and these other early investors, the private. You're going to see them, be up a lot more than the IDOs, because the IDOs generally don't get the tokens as low as seed private. This is basically like a pre-sale pretty much, where anyone can invest into. I can't see the vesting schedule. That's the only thing, I would want to look at the vesting schedule. It doesn't look like there's a lot of dilution, but still, if the vesting schedule for this is good, I think this concept is bullish. Yes, I do like this concept. I think it's a bullish concept. There's quite a few other projects that do it, like I said, but I don't know if any of them offer leverage. If this is the first platform that offers leverage, you want to check, if the vesting is okay or not. Doesn't look that bad though. What's your thoughts on Allo, and which niche inside RWA are you most bullish on? Real estate, tokenized stocks, something like ATR? I think if you want to be a little bit more unique, I think the best niche in RWA is going to be something like a Rio, where like a launch pad for RWA, which is what Thing is doing, StateX is doing now. But you want a platform where people can tokenize anything they want, which is what Rio is building. I think that's a bullish niche, because if me and you can now decide to tokenize, I don't know, like my laptop or something, I think that's itself is a bullish concept. If anyone can tokenize anything, I think that's a bullish concept. I think real estate, quite a few companies already do. I think that's going to be bullish anyways, because the whole concept of the average person can't afford a house, and they can with tokenization. I think that's kind of like the go-to theme for RWA. But tokenized stocks, I think that's where the BlackRocks, that's what they're focused on. And then something like a ATR, I think is quite unique, because it's like a community gets incentivized for holding the token, which is good token utility. So I'm bullish on all of them. I think the most unique one is probably what Rio's doing, which is building a wallet where anyone can tokenize anything they want. I think that's probably the most unique one. We already have plenty of real estate tokenized platforms like StateX, PropBase, PropC. There's a bunch of other ones as well. It's a good question though. I do like what ATR is doing as well, though, to be fair. Using a platform, buying projects, people can obviously, get a massive discount. I think that's quite unique. Andy, good to see you, buddy. DMC. I've not looked into DMC. No, I've never heard of it. Oh, I have heard of this, actually. Someone was talking about this in the group. Shit, it's up 65%. What the fuck? Oh, it's on Sui. Oh, shit. This is the project that Finger was telling me about. Welcome to DeLorean Web3 ecosystem, time capsules, tokens, staking, marketplace. Okay. So this is like another tokenized car company. Something like an Autos or Car Anomaly, whatever it's called. Roadmap, let's see. Partnership with Otherlife, MoonPay. Execute partnership, Sui Foundation. That's a shit roadmap, that is. What the fuck? It's a terrible roadmap. It's a former partnership with Sui. That's a roadmap. It doesn't look that bad. The website is very nice. Is the team doxed? I don't understand the concept about this project. It's a very weird one. As part of a DMC company ecosystem is hyper-focused Web3 technology or digital things first the community to take approach to customer engagement that includes incentivizing brand loyalty through exclusive offers, access, and rewards. This includes VIP experience, collaboration. Okay. Elon Musk within DMC 12. It's a weird ass project, bro. I need to look into this one a little bit further. I don't understand what it does. So it's basically similar to Autos, then, isn't it? Has very good volume. It's almost up 2x. Yeah, it's almost up 2x. Not bad though. The website looks nice. Redstone completing with Ondo and RWA Frontrunner. Redstone isn't competing. Redstone is this is a project I do like myself. What Redstone does is all the projects, all the tokenized stuff that happens on Build, which is the platform that BUIDL, which is basically what BlackRock uses to tokenize, is all being done using Redstone. So there's some stuff Ondo's being used. Ondo's more like stable coins and on-chain, stocks and all that kind of stuff. This is a platform where they actually use to tokenize it. I thought they were going to use Ondo, but they have not used Ondo. They've used this platform, which is Redstone. So, all the volume, everything that's been tokenized on that platform is through Redstone. So it is a competitor of Ondo, yes. And I think it'll outperform Ondo just because, it's like 20 times lower in market cap with not a lot of dilution, just over 1x. But this is a very good project. When it bottoms out, which it looks like it's starting to bottom out, I will potentially get a bag as like a decent mid cap. Should all be good to see as well. SenSay is still good, yeah. SenSay is still developing. I don't talk about SenSay as much on Thingy, but they're developing, a lot of stuff. They at the moment what SenSay is building, which I think is quite cool, is they're building this this island, like a government island, which actually got featured in Vice. But they are marketing, they're still doing their stuff. But at the moment, look, the market is dead. Is completely dead. Scrub, good to see you as well, bro. How you been? Look at StateX chart. Let's have a look at StateX. StateX has been doing really, really well. I think if you got into this when I told you on Sunday, you would have already been up almost 2x. You would have been up almost 2x. But it touched 2 cents, which is crazy. It touched 2 cents on Mexi. I don't know why it doesn't say on here, but you got in here when I told you to buy it. You would have been up a decent amount. Let's go look at it on how much it's moved up. From the lows is up over 2x, 3x. So if you got in from here, when it bottomed out over here to the top, you would have been up over 223%. If you got in from when I told you to get in, on the previous live stream, which was around the 12 cent region, around these regions, at the very peak, you would have been up over 60%, which is quite good considering how dead the market is. You're making money somewhere, which is quite impressive. C is another one of those that if you got in, you would have made a 2x. This is one that I went very, very heavy on, and at the peak, it basically went up 110%, which is quite impressive for a high cap. But C is catching a lot of momentum, and if you want to catch the C ecosystem, get one of the meme coins. Get like a Sion or a Milli or one of those ones. They tend to move fast. So C moved a lot. This is one that is one of my favorite layer ones, and it is done very well recently. It's always good to see. Can you enlighten me about StateX? How many X's if I buy now? You don't want to be buying now. Like I said, Bitcoin could potentially visit this region down here. If you cannot break this structure, the next stop is going to be at the bottom of this range, which will fill the CME gap. Maybe a wick down here and then back up. But you can always come down here as a wick, retrieve this region, and then everything kind of resets, and then we end up going higher, into a new all-time high. So just plan for both scenarios. Now, obviously, if BTC comes down here, you are going to see a correction across the board, including StateX as well. So I would not be buying now because it's already pumped too much, my friend. Wait for it to come down a little bit. Look to buy in these regions over here between 14 to 12 cents. That is a good region to DC into. I definitely would not be buying now, bro. This is pumped too much. Yo, G, new low for Super. Fucking hell. Again. If Super goes down enough, I probably will buy a bag myself. Oh, yo, this is crazy, bro. 0.025 is brutal, man. Look at the volume. The volume is as long as these guys are working, I do think Super will make a comeback. Is oracles will always do well in crypto. Every oracle has done well. AI oracle, Cookie done well. Chainlink has done well. I don't see why a layer 1 oracle would not do well. Yeah, Limpid is not a bad project, Verma. I don't think it's a bad project. I think Limpid is pretty cool. How many X's do you think Ondo can do? Is it worth? Ondo between a 3 to 8x, and one of the main reasons I don't think Ondo will do a 5 to 10x like most people say. I used to say that as well, but is this dilution is heavy. You look at Ondo for max, for it to go back to its all-time highs is just a 2x away, whereas people keep comparing it on a price perspective. The price perspective is obviously, like just over 3x, but the market cap perspective is what you should be looking at, because price gets diluted, and over the time, as more tokens come into circulation, the price is likely to keep going lower, whereas the market cap is going to keep going higher. So I would be I'd be a little bit careful buying now. Yo, someone made a Ben Cowan thing. That's hilarious. Yo, these guys. Yo, that's a. That is hilarious. With the current monetary policy, there'll be no alt season until all alt season with chases as much as I am. Yo, whoever made this thing is a legend. Looks like my stalker's not here today, but that guy is. I feel concerned, bro. If that guy is on my case as much as he is, imagine what he does to like a female or something, bro. He's probably stalking the shit out of some of these females, but I'll be. It's funny though, at least. That guy is funny, man. He needs to come in once in a while, give us a good laugh, and that's it. Tim, how you doing, buddy? I hope you're having a good day today. Sal, good to see you as well, bro. How you doing? All managed to catch up on another live stream. Sal, good to see you, bro. Yo, this shit is hilarious. Trust, good to see you. Yo, whoever made this account is a legend, bro. This is probably Merkel, bro. Ah, gosh. Anyways, guys, let's go back into it. StateX just released their roadmap, which is very, very bullish. Look at the roadmap. Global marketing campaign launch. So this is Q2 2025. So they have been marketing a lot. Release the StateX business pillar because they are going to be generating revenue, which is always good. Launch the StateX blockchain testnet. I think this is what they're focusing on. So it is a layer one for RWA. The only other layer ones that we have is Ondo, and we had Mantra, which died now, and the only other one is Relio. But this is going to be a layer one where projects are actually going to be building on them, which I think is massive. So the testnet is coming out very soon. They're going to be launching the EU. What is it? Launch StateX EU for retail investors. I don't know what that is. Present first project on the StateX. So basically, they are going to be launching a few projects on their layer one, which is going to be very, very interesting. Then they're going to be releasing the StateX RWA launchpad. So generally what tends to happen is you get projects that have launchpads, but they do launchpads in like 5 different sectors. So they do gaming, AI, RWAs, they'll do anything, dexes, whatever narrative it is, they'll do a bunch of different coins. But StateX is focusing on RWA specifically. So the only projects that's going to be launching on their platform is going to be RWA projects only. And this is important because if a project and a launchpad specifically caters to one sector, they become a pro in that sector. They understand what works and what doesn't work, and I think that's very important because if a few projects do well on the launchpad, what you're going to get is you're going to get a wave of people buying StateX and staking the tokens to get access to the launchpad. And that's how launchpads work. The likes of CDFI and some of these other successful launchpads, the reason people buy the token and the reason it pumps is because people buy a bunch of tokens, stake it, and get access to these launchpads and these allocations. That's why launchpads are a good token utility. So that's coming out. And then I think the most important one is they're going to be releasing the mobile app. There's just, StateX in the Middle East. There's a lot of good stuff coming. There's going to do in the US. There's going to be more exchange listings happening as well. These guys are very, very good marketers. They know exactly what they're doing. It's going to do very well. Just look for, like I told you guys last time, get an initial position. I wouldn't get it now, obviously, but wait for BTC to come down slightly. I do think, BTC most likely, will come down to this region within the next couple of weeks. So, have some cash on the side ready to buy the dip. I would not be, buying now because you pretty much could be buying the top. I think most people's bags should already be packed anyways because, for the last year and a half, everyone's been waiting for an Altseason and we never really got one. So I think most people's bags are already packed. But just have some cash on the side anyways. Is it a good time to grab some more SenSay or could it drop more? SenSay is resilient. I think the only people that's holding it now is the people that's been holding for a long time. So you can always come back down to these regions again, maybe like a wick, a double bottom, but ultimately when it goes back up here or a little bit higher, I don't think anyone's really gonna care, in my opinion, or like all the way up there. I don't think anyone's gonna care whether they're bought in at 0.01, but I would I would look to wait a little bit. I wouldn't buy now. Just wait for BTC to make the next move. If you cannot break out of this region within the next, 2 to 3 days, then the likely chances of us coming down to this blue box is more likely, in my opinion, than us going higher. So just wait a few more days. Wait for the market to open Monday, Tuesday, and possibly Wednesday. If the market it wants to push higher, then the chances of this happening in the short term is unlikely. But for the meantime, just I think just sit on your hands for now. That's what I would do. I'll sit on my hands. Even though most of these alts are the bear market lows, anyways, pretty much. Majority of alts are either putting new lows, or they either back down to their lows. Munity new all-time low. Yes, Munity did put in a new all-time low. Casper's decent. I've been looking for Redbelly. It's a layer 1 for RWA. Don't know. No one's talking about it. The reason no one's talking about Redbelly is because they're unwilling to show proof of the tokenization. That's why a lot of people are not willing to look into it. You have to look at it like this, Verma. If a platform claims, especially in crypto is a dodgy place. Is a bunch of scams, rug pulls everywhere, right? If a token claims they've tokenized $1 billion, that's a lot of money in tokenization, right? If a platform claims they've tokenized $1 billion worth of an asset, you need some sort of on-chain proof or some sort of proof, which Redbelly does not want to prove it. They say it's the confidential and you can't open the folder. So it's like me making a project and saying, I work with Microsoft, I work with Google, I've partnered with NVIDIA, I've tokenized $5 billion worth of assets. But then when people ask for proof, I just tell them it's confidential. I can't. It's secret. And the reality is, who's really going to trust that? So it's one of those. You have to either trust the team, which I don't trust the team personally, because if you claim that you're doing this, that, how is it that you've only managed to launch on Mexi? They raised a decent amount of money, because I did want to get into the pre-sale, but they when they first launched, they only had Mexi and they added Gate. But with that much money, realistically, you could have launched on a few more exchanges. So it's a shady one. If you do hold it, I wouldn't hold too much, just because it's shady. They haven't really tokenized shit ever since they launched. You look at the likes of Bricken, they tokenize in a bunch, and the reason you can tell they're tokenizing, because you look at the TVL, their TVL grew from like 10 to 12 million to like 35 million. So you more than doubled, which means that more and more people are using their API to tokenize. So when a project has more TVL than the market cap, that's a good project. That's an undervalued project. Another one that was like that was Maple. Maple had, I think, the second highest after Ondo, if not the highest TVL, which is currently, at one point this was like $500 million, or $500 million. Now it's over $1 billion. $500 million now is $1.6 billion tokenized, or TVL locked up. This was like 3x lower, but the market cap was a lot lower. It was like a few hundred million, or less than that even. And then look at it now. This is what happens to projects that continuously work. You get the chart looking well, because the higher TVL goes, the more tokens that are locked up, the less in circulation, the higher the token price can go. That's why token utility in crypto is so important. If more people, for example, let's look at ATR, right? It's another one. ATR, what they do is, they get Rolexes and luxury items, and they bring it on their platform. And if you stake the token, they have different tiers. If you get to the highest tier, let's say a Rolex costs you 20 grand, they'll give you 30 to 40% off the original price. That's where the utility in holding the token comes from. Because if you want a Rolex and you don't want to go buy retail, and you want to get it 30, 40% cheap, all you have to do is buy a certain amount of ATR, stake it, and then they'll give you that discount, which I think is quite unique. And people use it. Everybody wants a Rolex. What guy doesn't want a Rolex? So if people want it and then they want to get a massive discount on it, I think is very good. Okay, price prediction. I think from not from here, but if it goes down, back down to the 1 cent, it's very low in market cap. That's the thing. It's like people don't realize it's still quite cheap. I don't really ever use this shit, but look at this, right? I think they have the yes, $10 million in market cap. A 30x from here is still possible, very possible, because for 300 million, I've plenty of projects done it. I think Relio done it, and Relio, I would say in terms of product and utility and backers, StateX is a lot better than Relio. Even StateX community is solid, very very solid. So I don't see why it can't go to between 250 to $300 million in market cap. I don't see why it can't do it. In a good RWA season, it could potentially even go higher. High GF gaming season kicks in, Strapno or MTS. MTS is the one that Finger talks about, right? My Lovely Planet. Oh, MetaStrike. Yeah, I'll go with Shrapnel, but MetaStrike is as good as dead, pretty much. No, this is how all gaming. I'll probably go with Shrapnel, my friend. Manta is dead. Manta is dead. I would not be buying it. AI RWA season soon. I think I would probably the two areas I'll be most heavy in is AI and RWA. That's the two areas I'll be heavy in. With maybe like 5 to 10%, a little bit of gaming, a little bit of memes. I think that's where you should be allocated, in my opinion. But I think RWA is probably your safest bet. I would definitely go with Shrapnel in terms of gaming. Out of those two, I'll go with Shrapnel. I think Shrapnel they formed a partnership with the government of Hong Kong or something. It was quite massive. It did react positively on the news, but just like any gaming project, you're just gonna see them put in new lows in the short term, to be honest. So, what's my opinion on LCX and Parcel? I like LCX. I do hold a bag of LCX from fucking 2022. I've held it for a while. I did take profits on it, but I have a decent moon bag. But this is not too bad in my opinion. I would say it isn't bad at all. Shrapnel and Parcel is good as well. The only thing that threw me off Parcel is the unlocks is quite heavy, and that's why like every single time it pumps, it will always come down. But look at the TVL; it's not that great, is it? TVL is not the best. When it comes to RWA, the most important thing is TVL. Look for projects that have lower market caps than the TVL, like Bricken. Like, why would you buy Parcel when you can buy Bricken? Parcel is $26 million in market cap, with 9 million TVL. You look at Bricken is 30 million, so half the market cap, but has 35 million TVL. I think that's very important. That's a lot of supply locked up. I think probably the remaining tokens is probably locked up, but Parcel is not bad because obviously it has the volume, it has all the bots running. What people don't realize is any gaming project you see these days having very strong volume, 99% of that is all bots. Because if you took out the bots out of gaming projects, most of them will probably have, like, even the high caps, like something like Beam will probably have like 1 million volume at most. That's it. That's probably the most it'll have, and that's because gaming is completely dead. This has 15 million volume. I guarantee you, without the bots, this will probably have 1 to 2 million max. So a lot of the volumes is faked, and you can tell because HTX is the best for fucking fake bots. I mean, look at this 2bit. What the fuck is this? I've never heard of that in my life. That has the same amount of volume as Binance and a bit, which is like tier 1 exchanges. So I would you can tell when they're not running bots. For example, Kraken 67k, they're not running a bot there. They're not running a bot in Bitmart, in Bybit, Mexi. They're not running a bot, but Mexi everyone uses anyway. So I would say on average, most gaming projects will probably have between 10 to 50k volume right now. 100k to 150k realistic. I think 100 million for SenSay is realistic. Yes, I think it's realistic. I think that would be a 2x from where it reached before, like just over a 2x. So like around 2 cents, which I think is realistic for SenSay. Do I think Kadena is a good? I would not buy Kadena, bro. Kadena is old, and I don't think it's gonna make a comeback. Like all the miners out of Kadena moved on, so I personally would not be buying Kadena. Well, this is not only is it old, but it's like it's dead. Hello, G. Can you convince the old team that the token price is fucked? It is important to the survival of the. I do agree with you, yes, and I've made it very clear to them that if the token price is not performing, or is not dumping, which is good, and it tends to hold up well. But if the token is not performing, then the reality is, a lot of the community is just going to move on. That's the thing. But they've been doing some crazy work. I mean, all partnered with these guys, the blockchain, which is basically backed by the United Nations, which is quite important, because you get access to governments, big companies, through these type of partnerships, and then you also got them listed. So the data hub now is listed on Binance Wallet, which brings a fresh wave of new people using the data hub. And then once the data hub is complete, the next step for this is tokenization. So they're going to tokenize the data hub, and the people that stake their tokens, and become a tier 3 to tier 4 on the data hub, you earn a percentage of the revenue from the data hub, which I think will bring a lot more token utility, for the project. That's very important. Token utility is important because the more token that's out of circulation, at the moment there's like 120, between 110 to 120 million or that's being staked, which means they're never going to come into circulation, which is obviously important. But the more people that stake, and the more volatile the price becomes in both directions, so it'll go up a lot faster as well. And I think once they tokenize the data hub, it's going to bring a lot more token utility, and I think you're going to see a lot more price action as well. So just wait for that. But I do agree with you, Milim. It's very important. I speak to the team on Telegram to make sure. Like I told them to basically fix this shit ASAP, because this needs to be fixed. The real FDV for this is like 40 million, but on here it shows 80 million because they've burned 50% of the supply. Now, what's more attractive? 20 million market cap and 40 million, or 21 and 80 million? If this was like 40 or 39 million, whatever, it will look a lot more attractive because people will look at this. Oh, there's not a lot of dilution left. Might be worth a buy. So it's very, very important, that what's it called? That this comes down massively, and that's what they're gonna do. They've requested on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, but CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko recently, but they've been so slow with every project. Even StateX, StateX, I was speaking to them, and they said that we've applied for this shit like 50 times, and they just have not updated it, the market cap on here. So it's like it's a coin market cap to finger issue. I don't think it's the project issue. StateX looks like StateX volume is very, very impressive. You can't see it on here because I don't know why, but 5 million volume for a $10 million market cap coin, that's very important. That's very, very good. That's 50% of the market cap. Can SenSay do a 200? I wouldn't wait for $200 million in market cap. However, it is possible, yes. I think SenSay will get a few more listings as well soon. It's just all about timing. It's all about timing when it comes to exchange listings. It's not about, they can get an exchange listing tomorrow. Yes, the token price will pump 20-30%. And guess what happens? People just trade it and it will just come back down. So it's not really it's all about, I think it's the exchange listings, the marketing, all this stuff is all about timing. That's why a lot of projects say it's about timing. Any bullish news now just goes unnoticed and no one really gives a shit. Yes, it's City Watch. Hope you're doing good, boy. StateX, Jojo looking tremendously today. Yeah, Jojo done very well today as well. That's one of the meme point I'm holding right now. I don't want to talk about it because it's a fucking condom, bro. It's crazy. Impressed, 100% so. D-Clan, good to see you, bro. Very good to see you, D-Clan. Jay, good to see you as well, buddy. Alice, good to see you as well, bro. What do I think about buying Swarms right now? Okay, so my thoughts on Swarms is, although it's a decent project, there's so many more Swarm tokens coming out that I just don't see where, how, and this is going to outperform some of the other ones. It will obviously pump, but this just put in a new low. It was holding respecting this region over here, but it held. And I always tell people, people look at this, oh, no, I'm gonna buy a support. Eventually, if you keep tapping that support enough times, it eventually breaks, and that's what happened with swarms. Now, would I buy swarms at this region? Like I said, watch the start of the video. I would not be buying anything right now, just because I'm waiting for BTC to either break above this trend or come back down to this region. This is where I will be buying heavy. I have 20% cash. I will be deploying all my cash over here, and then obviously it will be like 10 to 15% will be trades, and then I'll add to my long-term positions here as well. And then at the same time, once we move back up, I'll take profits on my trade and then get back into 10 to 15% cash. So my concept is always be in 10 to 15% cash, no matter the market conditions, no matter. So any thoughts on alpaca? That's a rug pull, my friend. Do not buy that, Steve. I think what happened with alpaca was, let me see, is this the same alpaca I'm talking about, bro? I remember this. I traded this so many times. Yeah, this one right here. Do not buy this, bro. This done this crazy pump, came up crazy pump, and then just died. Maybe the market makers maybe pump it one more time, but the likely chance is unlikely. I think this is sometimes you get old projects. This is an old project, by the way. It's not a new project. It came out last cycle. They come out, and then just before they rug pull, this is what happens. Look at GLS. This was another one. It rug pulled, and it's disappeared. It's 47. He rug pulled, had this massive pump, and then it's like one last liquidity grab. I look at it, right? You get this massive pump, everyone FOMOs in, and they get used as exit liquidity for the team. Like the team pays market makers, because what market makers do, they'll pump it a certain amount, and then the market makers or the team or whatever, they start selling, people thinking it's coming back, and reality is fucking gonna die again, and then boom, it just goes back to zero. And someone was talking about this last time. Oh, he's pumped. It's like, yeah, because he's rugged, and then market makers pushed it up one last time because they paid them, and then he just rugged again. So this was one of those projects. I told people over here that it was gonna be a rug pull, and people didn't believe me. Look at it now; it's fucking dead. So you have to be careful, my friends. When you see like this is one of the reasons I never invested into Thai, is because the team is dodgy. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. When the team starts doing dodgy stuff, like for example, these guys, they've rugged 3 projects in the past. GLS, they already rugged 3 projects in the past. What are the chances of them rugging again? Why take the risk? There's just millions of other altcoins. Why do you need to get into GLS if the team has a history of rug pulling projects? There's no point. So we have to be careful. And that's the exact same with this one. It's a rug pull. Do not buy this shit. Do I think a spot listing for alt in 2025 is likely after listen? I think they'll get like a Kraken or like another tier 1 first. But I do think down the line, a Binance listing is 100% on the cards, because, not only are they the storage provider for Binance now they've got the data hub on there, which is the first app, or DEAI app on Binance. So they tend to have a close relationship with Binance, which is, I think, is very important. Alex Becker says we pump from here to the moon, but Alex Becker says that shit every week. Alex Becker literally says that every week, my friend. I wouldn't take anything he says serious, because he doesn't even know anything. Like Alex Becker will just talk for the sake of talking, but he's like more entertainment than actual valuable, valuable information. He's like an entertainer in crypto. That's what he is, and people use him because he has influence and his coins pump. That's what people use Alex Becker for. But in terms of like real information, it doesn't really bring a lot of information. Anyways, back to your question, my friend. Swarms, I think it will go lower. And keep in mind, swarms were good at one point when the AI agent wave first started. Swarms were good because the wave at that time was swarm agents, one agent that can do multiple tasks. Now I don't know. I haven't been keeping up to date with these projects, but if they haven't built any agents, there's like 10 other projects now that do swarms. So it's very competitive now. And I think there's a bunch of other projects that do it a lot better than swarms. So, like I said, it's a competitive sector. AI agents is becoming a little bit more like the narrative for AI agents is changing. Like anyone can build swarms now. Now it's like ACPs, MCPs, and something new will come out with AI agents because it's a developing sector, and that's where the money's going to flow into. I don't think the money's going to flow into swarms, because if that was the case, this would have pumped a lot more than it did. Then why would take a risk on a coin that doesn't have a docs team? That's on Solana, which can obviously rug pull or go to zero, just for a 2x. All this done was a 2x. You could have got a 3x on SenSay. You could have got, a free 4x on fucking AI tech, which is a lot safer. Like, why take the risk on a Solana DGEN coin with no docs team just for a 2x? Whereas you look at game on virtuals, I traded this a few times, this pumped a lot more. Like, this is the type of risk you want to be taking, where it will actually pump. This pumped 7x on the lows. There's a DGEN coin that pumped. And then you look at, what's the other one? Anything like the Vader on virtuals. That's the type of AI agents you want to get. Zero, bro, that one pumped, but I think that one's a rug pull anyways. This one pumped like 7 to 8x. If you're going to take the risk on something that's going to give you rewards, not just a 2x. So, just be very careful not to get into swarms. At the moment, the chart does not look bottomed. It looks like it can continue to go lower. It has these little pumps, comes back down, has this little weird, look at this formation, dump, comes back down, formation, dump, has a little rally, dumps, has a little rally, dumps. So it could always go lower. And then another one that I would be very, very careful of is Griffin. Griffin's another one. This has not posted shit for months now. It can always come back. I think the team is farming the shit out of this. That's what I think personally, because the team now has abandoned and started launching new projects. The CEO, he just launched a new project a few weeks ago, but the last time they posted anything was the 25th of April. So this is turning into like a based AI type of play. Where based AI was doing well, everyone loved it, and then just fucking died because they're not posting the updates. The CEO I seen the other day was talking about launching a new token, or I did launch a new token. So this is another one I'll be very, very careful of. $40 million in market cap is Swarm's main dev and CEO looks like a kid. I haven't looked into it, but it's not fully. The guy's not fully doxed though. The thing with these projects, right? There's like one dev working on the project. How much can they really get done? Whereas you got the likes of other projects, like one that's launching fairly soon. Let me see. We'll go back on this. What's this? It's like perp something perp. This one right here. This is launching very soon, but has real agents, like real swarm agents. It's not no dodgy stuff. Real swarm agents. Oh shit! It's House of Crypto's coin. AI agents that learn, earn, and retrust. This is a decent one. So this is one that I would. Is this House of Crypto's coin? What the fuck? I've been following this for a while. I didn't know this. This is a good Swarms token. Another good project that launched recently that you guys should keep an eye out for is Sahara AI. I got into this as a trade at 0.08. It did pump a decent amount. Not much, but like 20% or some shit. But this is one that I would keep an eye out as a good mid-cap AI agent coin. I wouldn't buy it now, but let it form a bottom. And I think this is not a bad mid-cap project. It's on Binance. It's backed by Binance. It's all the tier 1 exchanges. Overall, looks very, very solid. Synthesis 1 can be a rug pull. It pulled a couple of times, now it's dead. SNS is old. I personally would not be focusing on this post. Old. There's like millions of other data collecting projects now on a much larger scale. Like Alt collects data, trains AI with it. This was good at one point because it was the only one on Solana. Data collection was fairly new at that time in crypto, and they done very well. But there's like tens of other projects that does it 10 times better than this project. So I think it's dead. I would not get into it. Freedom, good to see you, buddy. Thoughts on GambleFi? I see SSMI is getting into the narrative. Will it perform well? But did SS? I don't really like to get into GambleFi myself, but I have traded a few. I don't really like getting into it. But GambleFi will always come back. I think it will do well. And the reason it will do well is because people like gambling, whether it's on meme coins or it's on some fucking slots or whatever the fuck it is, people gamble. So I think GambleFi will come back, and GambleFi and gaming tends to come back kind of similarly. What's my top 2 meme coin? My top 2 meme coin. Right now I hold Jojo, but that's like I chuck 500 in. If he dies, I don't give a shit. If he does well, I'm happy. That's it. That's how I treat them. I hold Jojo at the moment. Another good meme coin is probably like Ponky. I think Ponky, in terms of meme wise, is very, very good. And is fairly low in market cap. That's the thing. Like this is a meme that a lot of people use. This one right here, a lot of people use this meme. Or like MPC is another good one. MPC. This is another one. Like look at projects or memes that people tend to use. Like this is a meme coin that people share a lot. When people make a joke, they share memes. That's the type of memes you should get into because those are the ones that's going to be around forever. They're not really going to die. So NPC is one. Ponky is another one. Ponky is a safe one. Bonk is a good one as well, but that's obviously fucking very high. Now, Bonk could be good as a trade, or you can get something on the Bonk ecosystem, unless Bonk it. If Solana pumps, then so will Bonk. Yeah, UFD is not bad as well. Frog is decent as well. I think this is not bad either. Look for memes that obviously react well to the markets, because the only reason you want to get into meme coins is because they move faster and you want to make quick money. So look for memes that react well to the markets. Ponky, this, Frog is another good one indeed. Ass and it's funny, someone suggested ass and feet meme coin, same tits did 2000. I don't know, bro. I know Farcoin did a bunch of numbers, but ass and feet, I don't think. I think they might have done well, and then they probably just rug pulled. I'm still holding Brett. I think Brett. What happened to Brett? I think their account got banned or something on Twitter. I'm not too sure. Something happened to Brett, but Brett is still, he still does well. Like Brett still does well. Came down to about 2.6, did like almost a 5x from the lows, like a 3-4x, which is pretty good. But I don't know what happened to Brett. I think the Twitter got banned. Let's see. Nah, they're not banned. I'm tripping. They're not banned. Yeah, Brett is still good as well. Brett, Turbo's not bad either. These are the high cap ones though. You want to get into the mid cap ones, the two, Kokoro is not bad either actually. Popcat's good as well. Kokoro, Giga over these. I mean, I'm looking to pick up myself. Kokoro, what's Kokoro's market cap now? I have not looked into this, but I'll hold a position in this. 12 million. Fucking hell. Yeah, if this goes down like below 10, Kokoro could be a good one. As like if ETH does well, Kokoro would do well as well. Giga, I don't really like. The reason I don't like Giga Chat is because I don't like anything on the move right apart from SPX, because you have to look at it like this, right? You got into let's say you got into like here, the most you would have made is a 2x. Like, why take the risk on a meme coin for 2x? It does not make sense to me. Like, no one's catching these wicks, so forget the wick, right? Let's say you got in here or here, the most you would have made at the very peak is like 2x, 2.5x. It doesn't make sense. Like, why get into a meme coin for 2x when you can get the same 2x on Bricken, on Propbase, on any utility coin? They all do 2x's at least. So I would not take the risk on GigaChat because it just doesn't move that fast. I got into SPX at 40 cents, and that done very well because it has a much larger community than GigaShit. So I wouldn't get into this anymore, but there's other, like Popcat is a good one as well. Get into meme coins that's retraced a decent amount but moved up when the market got bullish. Now, this one still hasn't dumped enough in my opinion. 12.30 cents. Yeah, so this is done fairly well, to be fair. Get into the ones that perform well and has come down a decent amount. Like, I think this is a good list in my opinion. Punky, UFD, and Fwog. Though that's a good list. But Giga shit, I personally don't like Giga shit. That's just my opinion. I don't like Giga shit because, like I said, you can get 2x everywhere. Like, you don't need to get into a meme coin to get a 2x. I would expect this to perform a little bit better than what you done. You got in here, you would have just about made the 2x, just about, if you caught the wicks. I wasn't looking at memes like that, but thanks for Gems G. Look, if you're gonna buy memes, Jay, buy it as a trade, because when the market flips bullish and dominance comes down slightly, memes are the best performers, with the exception with a few altcoins. You know, with the AI coins or some RWA coins, meme coins are the best performers in the short term. You know, like for example, there's a bunch of good Solana coins as well, like Cola. I'm going to be buying Cola when it comes down, because not only does it move fast, I got into this the first time, and if you guys caught my live stream that day when I was talking about my trades in April, you know, you would have made a 9x on this. It was on one live stream. You know, I told, because I put trades in the private group, which ones I was buying. I shared it on that live stream. I think it was on a Sunday as well. Like, this is a good one to get into, because I do think RWA will come back, and I do think this will do well as well. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, look, the gems, I will be releasing a brand new base play sometime this week. It's a low cap base play. It's going to be a DGEN. So all the DGENs, 1% of the portfolio, or slightly a little bit higher, maybe 1.5, maybe 2%, depending on how much you like it. However, I would not recommend more than 1 to 2% of your portfolio. Just to, you know, I'll probably make a video on it, but I'll also talk about it on the live stream. But it's a good base play, low cap, very good vesting schedule. Team is doxed. But the thing I like about it is everyone uses it. It makes developers' life easier. If something makes a developer's life easier, or a project's life easier, then guess what? Everyone's going to use it. And if they have that token utility backing it, then guess what? The token price is going to appreciate in value, because more people are using it. And if if you want to use the platform and it requires the tokens, all these projects, all these developers will have to buy the token for it to do well. So, you know, that's why I like that project. It has good token utility, and a lot of projects use it. And when I share it, you guys will understand. I don't think probably people have heard of it. Would you choose Clearpool or Bricken? It depends on your risk tolerance. Like, Cpool is fundamentally strong. As a normie coin, I would potentially, like, it's a good 5x coin, I would say. If you want a little bit more DGEN, not DGEN actually, but low cap, I would 100% go with Bricken. If you want more returns, I would go with Bricken, because let's compare the two, right? This has almost $100 million in market cap. Both of the vesting schedules good. Bricken has no unlocks anymore. All the early investors are out. You know, I think it's almost damn near fully diluted. The TVL is 24 million, right? And then let's compare it to Bricken. Bricken TVL is higher, but it's only $13 million in market cap. That's crazy. Something that has more, TVL than $100 million coin is sitting at, almost $10 million in market. I think at the lows, if you caught that wick before it moved up like 20-30%, let's go back over here, you would have got it at $12 million. Not much difference, to be fair. But anyways, damn near $10 million in market cap. And I think that's more impressive than people can, think. And if they get one or two more listings, because right now it has shit listings, if this can get one or two more listings, this is easily going to, $200 million in market cap, easily. It just needs a few more listings. Clearpool obviously has more volume because it has very good listings. Kraken, BingX, BigGet, KuCoin, Bybit. Like, these two are classed as tier 1. That's like a tier 2. If Bricken can get a few more listings, it's going to do really, really well. And I think if you guys listen to my AMA, they were this close to closing a brand new listing. So I think a new listing will come for Bricken. Nillion, Redstone are launched at the same time, following the same chat together as Nillion goodbye. Nillion is a fundamentally strong project, yes. It has a specific use case, but I have not looked at the vesting schedule, so I can't really tell you if it's a good buy or not. Let's have a look. I think more than anything, it doesn't matter how good a project is. I think the vesting schedule is probably the number one thing that everyone should take in consideration. So the first thing you do is come down here, check. Oh, the I codes are down, which means that these guys are probably slightly up on the investment. So, you're not going to get dumped on too heavy because the I codes are down. Ideally, what you want is you want the I codes to be down about 50, 60%, which will put the seed, private, and all these guys damn near break even. So that's always to consider. Now, there's no unlocks for a while actually, which is good because the next unlock is protocol development, which starts in almost 90 days. Community code. So the early backers, they get the tokens, and the team members, whatever, which is 40% of the supply, they get the tokens later. Ecosystem has not received their tokens either. So far, it doesn't look that bad, but considering the vesting is good, I'm surprised this has performed so shit. I'm surprised. Yeah, let's look at 2026. 2025, let's say Jan. Yeah, the vesting is solid. I don't think it's a bad buy, no. I think it's a good project overall, to be fair. It's a good risk to reward ratio, I would say. Let me see what this does. I can't remember probably. Is it encryptions? I'm pretty sure it's encryptions, right? Humanity first, blind computer. Okay. Nillion decentralized trust for sensitive data in the same way that blockchain decentralized transactions. So this is another data coin. Okay. AI deepen. Yeah, look, everyone knows data is the new oil. If you can get a good, if you can get a good dominance in data, at some point or in the future, your token or your project is going to do very well. You're going to be generating a lot of revenue. I think data. Everyone knows data is the current oil or the new oil. Honest opinion, GTAI looks solid 100x. I do like GTAI as a project because I like what they do. In terms of how it's performed, obviously it hasn't performed the best, but we haven't had this type of narrative in a while. So the Web3 execution provides you access to CeFi, DeFi. So it's like an AI DeFi project, DeFi AI project. NFT agent marketplace, I'll call it that. Great app in the next. GD protocol API SDKs. They've changed the website since the last time I've looked into this. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not been doing that bad, to be fair. Oh, actually, no, I lied. I lied. This done very well when it first launched, I remember. Fucking hell, this looks brutal, bro. This looks brutal. It looks bombed out though, at least. It looks bombed. One of the things that I told people to sell this, one of the main reasons at least, was the vesting schedule. And look what happened. Because the vesting schedule for this was horrible, man. Look how bad it was. And it's still going. So I don't know. I personally would not invest into this one, bro. What's the fundraising saying? If these guys are down, I personally do not like DeFi AI coins. I don't like the concept of DeFi. Oh shit, these guys are finally down on their investment. That's crazy, bro. This is why every single time you buy a new token, it's very, very important to look at how much the private sale. The people that got into this, they farmed the shit out of this, bro. They were up 57x at the highs, 36x for these guys. Yo, these guys made some ridiculous money, bro. It took this coin to dump this much for the early investors to finally be break even. Finally. This is why when I tell people, when you look at a new project, look at the vesting schedule and look where the early investors' prices are, because the likely chances of the token hitting those prices are very likely. Another one was Peak. I told people to be very careful of Peak, even though it's a good project. It was going to go and put in, go a lot lower. And look what happened to Peak. It won't tell you on here, but look at Peak. It just put in a new low not too long ago. Peak put in a new low just a few days ago. He went to, almost basically went to 5 cents or just 6 cents. Now, the best place to check, if you can't check it on there, is over here. Just people don't realize little stuff like this matters the most because you're saving yourself a lot of money. It's like, why do you need to buy a token if it's not at seed prices? Even if other people are telling you to buy this shit, like, what's the point? It's just gonna keep going lower, and until it gets close to between the 1 cent to the 3 cents. There's no point buying this shit because it can always go lower, especially when these guys keep unlocking. And look at this shit, bro. 167 million at this price, 46 million at this price. Is valuation is 6 million worth that much. The 50 million is worth that much. That's how much they're up loads. So you have to be careful not to buy. It doesn't matter how good a project is. In the current market condition, guess what happens? It's just going to keep bleeding, and it will happen, on the unlocks, because the early investors are up so much. If when they get their tokens, they're going to slowly keep dumping it. And if you cannot provide the buy power, if the market condition is not there, it's just going to keep bleeding. Last couple questions, guys, and I'm gonna sign off. I want to buy some coins in name, but I'm gonna wait to see if BTC will trade. Yeah, that's a good move, Jay. Good move. Just wait. Your thoughts on Lofi? How many X could you do? I do like Lofi as the Sui play. I would wait for Lofi to come down a bit more. If it comes down to maybe like, I don't know, 2 cents, I think is a good buy. It's a good buy because Sui is gonna do well. I think Sui will still perform despite the big unlocks. I think if you rather get a meme coin, once C cools down a bit, you could possibly get a meme coin on C, a good one. This is one that's on C. But the thing is, all of these is pumped too much. That's the thing. They're all pumped too much. You have to be careful. Look how brutal some of these drops were, bro. This one got fucked. Sion, not a bad one. I had a Bricken AMA yesterday. I think it's on my live stream. Check it out. I had it like a couple of weeks ago. Can you check Lumia? I think Lumia is not a bad project. It's a good normie coin. Like in terms of has all the tier 1 listings, Binance and all these other ones, good volume. I think it will do well in an RWA season. I think it will do well. Just have to be, just wait for BTC to drop a bit more. This could be a decent buy. Yeah, look at the chart. It looks bottom. It's gonna bottom out eventually, bro. Just keep letting it bleed out, and when it bottoms out, holds the price, then I would buy. What's the matter with Binance ecosystem? Which new coins launched by BNB? Seems like whichever new coin. It's not Binance. It's Binance itself. It's not the ecosystem. I think Binance is on some scammy shit, bro. Like for you to launch on Binance, I think now instead of money, they probably require tokens as well. And what they tend to do is when they get the tokens, they just dump the shit out of it. They'll cause that initial pump, have the exit liquidity come in, and then just go straight down from there. Just, it's brutal. Anything on Binance is fucking brutal. That's why I don't really want alt on Binance, bro. As good it will be for publicity and all this type of bullshit, but alt on Binance means that as soon as the Binance listing is done, you have to just sell most of your tokens, because after that, if they require the tokens, obviously if they pay the $5 million, they can get on Binance. But if they require the tokens, then all it's gonna get fucked at some point. Or any project, AI tech or whatever. Like as soon the Binance listing is the end goal. Whether it's AI tech, any project that gets on Binance, you have to sell it after that pump, the Binance pump, because the Binance pump will happen. It will obviously pump a decent amount, and then once it's pumped, You have to get rid of it because what will follow afterwards is a massive dump. Binance is going to dump the shit out of it. Softlex, how you doing, bro? Anyways, guys, smash that like button. Appreciate all of you for coming in. Let's summarize the entire live stream. Actually, let's go over a few things that I missed. So, very important for prop base. Real estate tokenization on Aptos has exploded 57% in May, reaching $500 million. With BlackRock build, Franklin Templeton, Benji, whatever the fuck that is, blah, blah, blah. Aptos now ranks the top 3 in RWA projects, blockchains, which is very important because what's the best RWA on Aptos? Prop base. So if Aptos continues to grow in terms of RWA, prop base will likely to follow at some point. It's very, very good for prop base, this one. Yeah, exactly, Sal. Exactly. I don't think it's worth getting in this cycle, bro. Another thing. So big stuff coming for Bricken. Bricken is becoming a beast at the time, and the time to unleash the Kraken is nearing. So they're going to be releasing a bunch of big developments, which is going to be massive. They have the partnership that I told you guys about Bricken has not been released yet, and I think when the market conditions are a little bit better, you can see a lot of big developments coming from Edwin, which is the CEO. EstateX has become the first RWA project in terms of launchpad wise. So we don't really have any RWA launchpads. I think these guys might be one of the first ones, if I'm not mistaken. They've released their roadmap. Social risk is at the all-time lows, which means the only people that's in crypto is the existing retail and the people, the crypto bros that's been here for a long time. That's it. That's the only people in crypto, which is normally the best time to buy. Because if social risk goes back up to the 0.1, 0.4, 0.5 region, it's a good area to start taking profits. That's a very good area to take profits. You buy when social risks are all-time lows, because if Bitcoin is not going to be, obviously we know Bitcoin's not in a bear market right now, and it's not going to enter the bear market. It's most likely going to keep going higher. The best thing you can do is position yourself now while social risk is all-time lows, because when Bitcoin goes to 130, 140, 150, guess what's going to happen? A fresh wave of retail is going to come in again, and that's when you start taking profits. That's how it is. Hey, thanks for the quality content. Do you have any opinion on SHX and Velo on the Stellar chain? Velo is not bad. I used to hold Velo, actually. I did sell it because it pumped a decent amount. I used to hold Velo. Fundamentally, it's a strong project. However, would I buy it? You can easily get a 2 to 3x on Velo, nothing more. SHX, this one sounds familiar as well. Stronghold. No, I've not looked into this. I've never heard of this. Let's have a look at this one. It's on Stellar. Stellar's been a dead chain. That's the only thing you have to keep in mind. Stellar, although Stellar fundamentally is one of the strongest chains, but in terms of performance-wise, it has not been that great. Stellar is been doing well along with XRP. Most token store value, SHX creates it. It's one of those where it's like Stellar's already pumped, and I'm sure this has already pumped as well. Is it going to pump again? I'm not too sure. I don't think it's worth buying it now, my friend. I think there's the pump for this is done. Look, if you got in down here, you would have made some stupid money up here, bro. I like both. I like both. Arrow and C, I like both. Sniffed, I'm still holding my sniff bag, but it's like 1% or less on my portfolio. It's like I only what I do with the DGENs, I just chuck in between 500 to like 2k, depending on how confident I am, and then I'll just put them in a separate wallet, and I forget about it till the market gets into extreme greed. Because the reality is, any DGEN coin now are not going to pump, because most people are scared to even buy altcoins in general. Like, no one even believes the concept of Altseason anymore. The last thing they're going to do is go buy a coin that's worth $1 million in market cap. That's the reality. So I still hold the DGENs I hold is Lightning, Sniffed, Chirply, Logx. Those are my favorite ones. Those are the ones I hold. I just put them in a different wallet, and I forget about them. And then at some point, if gaming comes back, I'll look back at it. If the DEXs do well, or like I said, if AI gaming does well, which is where I'm betting my money on, Sniffed, If that comes back, then it will likely do well. Until then, it's just going to be chill. Could go down slightly more. You could maybe have wicks here and there. But like I said, in the current environment, no one's looking for DGEN coins. People don't even want to buy altcoins right now. That's why when you look at dominance, is at the all-time highs down there. So, and until we get back into extreme greed, just either I don't know, if you want to consolidate, sell your DGEN, sell them. Doesn't matter. And you want to buy them again when they cool off a bit. You could do that, but you don't want to be buying Sniff now, though, do you? I mean, you don't want to be buying StateX now. Is at the all-time highs, bro. If it cools off, that's a good move, Selflex. But let it cool off a bit. Let the market cool off a bit. Let's see what BTC does next, and then we can decide from there. If BTC clears this structure, goes up to like 110, retests 1.7 as a support, and then more likely will probably go higher. If it cannot break past this and close above it strongly, then the likely chances will come down and fill this CME gap at this region right here. Yeah, look, it's doing really well, Selflex. Look, it's doing really well, bro. It's up over 3x from the lows. So if you got in here, you would be up almost 250%, which is just over 3x. I guess Altseason will happen Q1, Q2 of 2025. So the leverage ratio SLR is going to take effect, and August interest rates. I think is valid. I think between November to Q1 2026, I think that's an area where I think alts will perform. The only thing is, Tom, you have to look at it as like it's all about momentum. If the market can keep the momentum going, when we pump from September to December, even though the pump really started in October to like December times, November, December times, that's when the pump really started. If the market kept that momentum and what's his name didn't fucking ruin it, Powell, by announcing less rate cuts, that momentum would have continued a few months on. It's all about if the market can sustain the momentum. One little wrong move where unemployment shoots up or fucking inflation goes back up, the momentum gets lost. And that's where the trading game comes in, because when you're in a business cycle, you have to trade as well as hold on to your long-term bags. You could even, like, if your average is shit for a project, let's say you got into, I don't know, SenSay at like 2 cents. When it goes to like, not 2 cents, sorry, like 0.02, and it goes to 0.03, and the market is stalling, and you start hearing like, you look at the markets, Bitcoin's looking weak, putting in weak structures, then it makes sense to sell half of your bag, be patient, wait for it to come down, and then buy again, so that way your averages are lower. The whole aim of the game in altcoins is to bring your averages down. That's it. That's the whole game. Once your averages are low, when the market rips, you're going to be in profits a lot faster, and you're going to be in more profits when it goes even higher. So you have to play the trading game. The aim of the game for the next 2 to 3 months, if something pumps and your average is shit on it, sell half, and then buy back lower and bring your averages lower. You keep doing that over and over again, eventually your average will be fucking very good. And then as soon as the market flips even 2 weeks of bullish, you'll be in massive profits. That's the game you have to play now. And then you have to trade as well on the side. If you see a coin that's performed well in the past, like Cola, and it's coming back down to the range lows, it makes sense to grab a bag. Like if you got in here, over here, you would have been up a decent amount, like, almost a 2x from the 1.4, went to like 2.8, is damn near done a 2x. And then what you do is you cash that out and then bring your averages down on another coin that you like long term. I do agree with you, Michael. StateX might not come down. That's why I said on the previous live stream to get your initials down here, to get your initial bag, because if it goes higher, you're exposed and you don't want to feel FOMO. And if it goes down, you can DCA. But I do agree with you with that, because once the testnet is out, I think that would be massive. It will probably shoot even higher. I would be hesitant holding past Q1 too early. Yeah, I would agree with you. But look, people say this at the current moment, but as the market develops, as the business cycle continues, because the business cycles can take years, bro. It's just the condition could be looking a lot better now in 2026, because JP Morgan is predicting fucking 6-7 rate cuts next year. So there's a chance that could happen. What Finger said. So there's a good chance. As already said, they have people using a white label. Yeah. Facts. This is facts. Apparently they have very notable or solid RWAs already using the layer one. But anyways, guys, it's been a positive live stream. I appreciate all the support and I appreciate everyone for coming down today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend or Sunday, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Whenever we get the unemployment numbers, I'll be live on that night just to go over what's happening in the markets. But appreciate the continuous support. Appreciate all the drop a like on your way out as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a lovely Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye, guys.